How's it going? Hi everyone, my name is Antara and today I'm going to give a presentation about the database management system MariaDB. And this presentation consists of some key concepts. So first we're going to talk about what MariaDB is and some brief concepts about its logo, its launch dates of different versions, about its company history, its target markets, database types and database models, accessibility, price of services, data storage, and what types of data access language it uses, its user friendliness, and whether it provides any kind of data visualization tools or reporting features. And then we'll conclude this presentation by including some advantages and disadvantages of this software. So first, what is MariaDB? MariaDB is a popular and open source database server, which was originally developed by the developers of MySQL. And it was a fork from MySQL, which means is that the developers of MySQL used the source code of MySQL to modify and design a distinct and separate piece of software from the existing source code of MySQL. And this particular project was done because MySQL is not free. And after the purchase of Oracle, after the purchase of MySQL by Oracle Corporation, it did not remain free. So the developers felt the need of creating a different and a better version of, well, it's not better, but it's a similar and open source version of database management system, which could be useful for general use or which could be useful for publics. So this was the intention, and the name of the software was named after the youngest daughter of the developer, Ulf Michael Weidenius. And he's also known as Michael Monty Weidenius. And this particular software is named after his youngest daughter, Maria. And the official logo of MariaDB is seal, as a black or brown seal, which is usually as the official logo in their websites for their products. Next, we talk about some launch dates when the initial version of MariaDB release was launched. And here we can see there are some versions of MariaDB from the initial version was launched in 29 October 2009, and the latest version was originally released in 22 December 2021. And since MariaDB follows MySQL structure, so it originally followed the naming convention for their versions to name their versions as well from MySQL. So the initial version of MariaDB was 5.1, which included all the features and characteristics of MySQL 5.1, and their next releases the names of their next releases also followed this naming convention, except the case when MySQL had version 5.5 and 5.1, and between them there was no version. But MariaDB instead released some other versions like 5.2, 5.3, etc., etc. Next, we talk about some history of MariaDB Foundation and MariaDB Corporation of how it came to be. So the developers of MariaDB So the developers of MariaDB, that is the developers of MySQL, three of them initially thought of forming a foundation that would help in the development of MariaDB software. And so in December 2012, they formed a foundation called MariaDB Foundation, and their initial goal was to make a governance model which will be similar to the Eclipse Foundation. And their cornerstone of foundation was openness of the software, adaptation of and the continuity of the free versions of MariaDBs. In 2014, a corporation named MariaDB Corporation AB joined the MariaDB Foundation as a sponsor and as a member. And they, after joining, there were some roles, change of roles between these two organizations, that the ownership roles and the uses of registration, registered trademark and license. Like, for example, it was agreed that the MariaDB would be registered as a trademark of MariaDB Corporation AB, whereas it would use the license of MariaDB Foundation. So the MariaDB Corporation AB, the history of MariaDB Corporation AB was that it was formed in 2013 by merging two different corporations. One was SkySQL Corporation AB, and another was Monty Program. And eventually it changed its name in 2014, in 1st October 2014, so that it could be better associated with the MariaDB database management system. In February 2022, MariaDB Corporation announced that they wishes to be a publicly listed company on the New York Stock Exchange. Next, we'll talk about the target market of MariaDB. Now, the target market means the clientele or the user base of MariaDB, like how vast the user base of this database management software is. And it is astoundingly that this database management software consists of a vast number of organizations from both small to large scales. And they give services to almost 26 countries, and they have 9 worldwide offices to provide for these services. So, which is a huge number. And here we can see some list of companies in different sectors, from sectors in financial sectors, in education, in telco, in technology, in retail, public sector, travel, hospitality, like in lots of different sectors. Lots of small and big companies use MariaDB as their database management system. We can see Samsung, Lufthansa, then we can see Nasdaq, we can see Wharton, we can see different universities, Calgary, University of Zurich, like lots of reputed organizations use MariaDB from in lots of different sectors. Next, we'll talk about the database type and model of MariaDB. So MariaDB offers both a standard database, that is a centralized database. It also offers distributed SQL types of database, and it can also offer the data warehouse based on the requirements of its client. This is the this is based on the need of the data storage of the client, that whether they want to store the data in a centralized location, or they want to store the data in different sites or in different locations. It's solely based on that. Then MariaDB can act as an operational and end user type of database. That is, it can store both the operational and end user types data. And it also, again, varies based on the types of its clients. And then MariaDB has a primary model, database model of a relational database, since it is a replacement of the MySQL database. And MySQL is a relational database, so it follows the same model of a relational database model. Then it has some secondary database model, such as document store, graph DBMS, spatial DBMS, etc. So document store is where document-oriented database system that are characterized by schema-free data organization. Then graph database management system is structure database where data can be represented in graphs as nodes, and the relations between these data can be represented as edges. And they're easy to process and simple to calculate some graphical properties. Then the spatial database management system is a system where data that is called spatial data are effectively stored and can be manipulated and can have different types of query can be performed on spatial data. So what a spatial data is? Spatial data is basically a type of data that can be represented as geometric space, like different types of points or different types of polygons, etc. So these are the secondary database models that MariaDB database management structure has. So next we will discuss about the accessibility. The accessibility is about whether the software provide in-house or cloud-based or both services to its clientele. The answer is it provides both services based on the needs of the organization. If the organization requires in-house installation-based service, MariaDB has a service called the MariaDB Enterprise Server. So this provides that. And they also have a cloud-based service that provides them a cloud-based service, which is called the MariaDB SkySQL, or also known as the MariaDB Cloud. So this service provides accessibility through cloud, and this can help any company in managing their resources or cutting off their cost for additional hardware or additional need of any storage capacity. So the data storage is that how much maximum storage capacity the different MariaDB services can provide. So MariaDB usually provides three kinds of services. One is their free community server, MariaDB server, and it provides 60 terabytes of maximum storage data. And the other two are their enterprise version and their cloud-based version, which provides storage that is based on the requirements of their clients. So there is no fixed amount. It can be maximized or minimized based on the requirements of the clients. Then they have multiple data centers that provides effective communication between local servers. Next, we talk about the data access language that MariaDB uses. So since MariaDB is a relational database, it uses SQL as data language. And also, since it was a fork of MySQL, and MySQL uses a variant of SQL. So it uses the same variant of SQL, so that it becomes compatible to MySQL. Next, we discuss about the usability or the user friendliness of this server. Now, for the free versions, for the free standard free community server, there is no tech support. So what they have is that there are 3 public forums in different groups like Reddit, Apache, Friend Support Forum, Persona Community Forum, MySQL, and MariaDB, where they discusses various MariaDB related issues and user feedbacks. And also there is a forum called the MariaDB Community that documents all the weblogs, news, and other public informations which is useful and related to MariaDB. That also helps the users a lot. So based on this public forums and some other personal user blogs and reviews, there was a common impression that this database management system is comparatively easier to use than its other competitors, such as MySQL. Next, we'll talk about the data visualization and reporting features, whether MariaDB has any. So since MariaDB primarily gives open source community server, it doesn't come with its own GUI or data visualization tools. However, there are lots of tools that is compatible with MariaDB to create data visualization and generate reports based on features like DBForge, Studio for MariaDB, MySQL Workbench, etc., etc. Here we have an example of a data visualization dashboard generated by DataPine's MariaDB connector tool on MariaDB. And we can see that by watching this, we can have different ideas about different kinds of data on financial sectors. Then we're going to discuss some advantages of MariaDB. So primarily, MariaDB provides some features that is unavailable in other open source relational database features, other open source relational database services. So MariaDB provides encryption at rest. That is, it encrypts when it can encrypt the data when the server is at rest. Then it provides a point-in-time rollback, that it can provide specific rollback in specific points. Then it also provides other types of features like table and log compression, temporal tables, compatibility to different types of databases like Oracle, SQL, etc. Then it also provides some different storage features, like it provides a storage feature where data can be stored in columns as well. Then there are some other features that was not seen in open source relational databases, like zero interruption failover, where it preserves the existing connections, recovers any in-flight transactions and retries and any failed queries. So overall, making it a very transparent transaction process to its users. Then it also provides a hybrid transactional and analytical processing, which is, as I've discussed before, that it provides a data storage feature in both row and column format, which is very useful for fast analytics and on real-time data. And also it provides a distributed SQL structure, which is also useful for scaling resources. Then we have some other advantages, like MariaDB, the security. Since it is an open source software, there are frequent security releases for this software. That is one of the main benefits of open source software. While we cannot say that it is necessarily like better in security than MySQL, but it definitely provides a better security, and its developers are very concerned with its security updates. So that is an advantage. Another advantage is that it is open source and it is highly compatible with MySQL. So it means that migrating from one database management system to other is relatively fast. And then since it is compatible with MySQL, it also goes well with other languages that are commonly used with MySQL. So it means that it requires less time in debugging and learning the code. And then there's another advantage is that it can be installed and run for WordPress instead of MySQL for a better performance. And because WordPress is a really popular CMS, and it has a very active community of developers. So the third-party themes and plugins work as intended when WordPress is installed with MariaDB. So it's another advantages of this software. Now we conclude our presentation with some limitations of MariaDB. So while it has lots of advantages, it has some disadvantages, like it is somewhat prone to bloating. Now, what bloating is that it when the index log file, when the central index log file becomes large in MariaDB, it becomes really slow in its performance. So that's a problem. Another problem is it's in caching technique, which is not as fast as its other counterparts. So that could be improved as well. And although it says that it is entirely compatible with MySQL and lots of other database management systems, it's still not, the later versions are not entirely compatible to MySQL. So while migrating from one database management system to others, it still requires some coding to do. And then since its free version or its open source version does not have a tech support group. So the organization or the users who use the free version of MariaDB has to only rely on the knowledge base and forums from the public forums instead of for any technical support. So that is also an issue for security, and other purposes for the users. So that's it. I'd like to thank everyone. So thank you.